Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action. Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Dan from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. I am here with Scott to talk all things Survivor Series 2021. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good. I'm tired. It went on very, very long last night, but other than that, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Just want to put it out there. I did not steal the egg. Did you?
Neither did I. I wish I had something like that. Yeah.
There you go. We've sorted that one out for you, Vince. So there's two suspects to cross off your list. So
yeah, we've kind of made the list shorter at least.
Yeah, so it's like Chris Jericho, isn't it? Just sit there ticking them off the list, and you just made the list. But yeah, so as we said, guys, we are here to talk all things Survivor Series 2021. It happened, obviously, in the small hours for us here in the UK, while I was tucked up in the land of Nod. You, I understand, were watching the show live, and during your cooking time, how inconvenient they decided to put on a match between Shinsuke Nakamura and Damian Priest.
Well, actually, I wasn't even cooking then. We were still live when that was on. We did that live. Me and Rob. So basically, spoke about this match already. Me and Rob did live reactions to it. So
that's definitely my penny's worth in it. Then, but yeah, talking of Damian Priest, obviously, if you haven't already seen it, go and check out. Scott had a chat with the man himself. Talking all things like basically picking a new celebrity partner, new character, new theme music, and what he'd like to see the Queen do. So,
well, that interview is very relevant now because well, what he did, basically, what he did to Nakamura.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't want to spoil too much on it, but I mean, obviously, we've got a few more as well that we'll probably get to throughout the show. Obviously, the people that are not in the match, so there's one that's not in the match, and that's Doudrop. So if you haven't already as well, go and check out the Doudrop theme song. Doudrop interview even. She goes through some very interesting things about obviously finding out when she was going to be called Doudrop. And obviously, randomly, she recognized us as well and knew us from beforehand. So,
that was nice.
Yeah, really, really sweet lady as well. So, wish her all the best, obviously, in WWE. But obviously, getting back to Shinsuke Nakamura and Damian Priest. We got a little bit. Well, I was a bit confused as well at first when obviously I saw what had happened at the end with obviously breaking Boogs' guitar. Sorry about that, if
poor Boogs
listeners. But yeah, Rick Boogs, what a talent as well, mate. He's good in the ring, good on guitar. Brilliant live as well. Like when we went to WWE recently, playing Shinsuke to the ring. People saying, "Oh, is it live or is it not?" It's like,
definitely is live. Yeah, fair play on
really. But, yes, I mean, like if we look at our predictions for this one, Lucas was the only one that actually got it right. He said Nakamura. All three of us all said that we thought that Damian Priest was going to win. So.
Yeah, I mean that's starters. I mean to go on with this one, mate. I didn't have a good night at all.
Yeah, I think we calculated it earlier that this was probably one of your worst ones ever, pretty much. So
there's a reason why this is being hidden. I don't deserve to show off trophies when I'm doing performances like that.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. So but yeah, so then obviously the show did kick off properly, and kickoff is. In a big way, and that was with Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion. I, to be honest, was a bit umming and ahhing over this one, because I said on the prediction show I wasn't sure if this was going to actually go ahead as planned. I didn't know whether they were going to maybe swap somebody out of the match, but obviously it did come to a head, I guess, here, and obviously Becky going over. Interesting though that they used the like the cheat finish that Charlotte tried it and the referee caught it, and then Becky did it and the ref didn't catch it. You know, and there were some very, very hard shots in this one. And obviously Becky's interview afterwards on WWE.com, quite emotional, quite tearful as well. Seems like there's like an air of legitimacy about, like, you know, she feels like it's the end of a kind of friendship with Charlotte sort of thing. But
yeah, it's an interesting story that they've been able to tell. I think we were saying on the pre-show yesterday on the build-up that just how under the radar it almost felt this match, because it is such like it's WrestleMania worthy. And the pre-show were proper pushing it as if it was going to be the main event, and then it was the opener, and that was really strange. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into that quite a bit here, but the order of matches was very strange.
Yeah, so from what I've actually seen, there's been a few different stories come out about this actually, and apparently there was 2 separate run sheets for it, and one of them had the card as it was on the show, and the other one actually had it flipped the other way round. So it would have meant starting with Big E and Roman Reigns and then ending with this one. Apparently the reasoning behind that thought was because as it got on later in the show towards the Big E Roman Reigns match, everyone would then expect The Rock to be coming out,
which is such a risky thing to do. And yeah, I'm sure we'll get to that later on. But I think that's awful. If that is actually what they plan to do, I understand it, but it's it just.
But then the thing is, if you're smart and you actually read the news, then you'll know that The Rock was actually in Australia, so he couldn't have physically been at the show. So
yeah, but they could have done a video via satellite. I mean, and you know, the amount of times that people pretended to be other places. I was saying all up on the build-up show last night, he weren't going to show up. But even as the show went on, I thought they'd be really stupid not to let it, you know, be a surprise and happen now. Because I mean, apparently the people in the audience, like, every time they played the like Rock 25 flashback scenes, because it started with the "If You Smell," people in the audience like jumped and thought it was coming out. Like, and apparently that happened quite a lot in the night. So that was a stupid thing to do anyway. And then just like, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but the Vince McMahon stuff, like, it just seemed like it's got to be for a reason, but no, it wasn't.
It's probably. So it's probably going to be like planting the seeds to like their WrestleMania match, which will probably, I'm going to assume, using logic, I think it's going to be not WrestleMania coming up. I think it will be the WrestleMania in Hollywood. That would make more sense because they're playing on like the Rock's movie stuff at the moment. And, you know, Roman is fine as he is at the moment. Just keep the title on him, keep it through WrestleMania. You know, he doesn't need to have the title change anytime soon. You know, you're in a good place.
It would go on a very long time if it was Rock next year. I think if it is next year, I think Roman is better off losing it and someone else getting a shine from that, and then Rock versus Roman not being for the title, but being about being the head of the table or the top of the family or passing the torch or however you want to kind of frame it. But you know, it just seemed logically that if it was this WrestleMania, which now I definitely think it isn't, it would have, you know, we'd know by now because he would have not missed the opportunity to celebrate 20. Like, he'd be doing work with WWE soon. It would make sense to do. Yeah, so the 25th anniversary would have been the perfect time to start that. And they did tease it a lot. But anyway, we're going right into Roman Reigns stuff. Maybe we should leave on that and come back to it later on. But this opening match, again, the order was strange, but it was a great way to open it. Very, very good match. I enjoyed what they both did. We kind of touched on, like you say, on our prediction show and on our build-up show that, you know, there's definitely an air of realism about this, and who knows how much is legit heat behind the scenes or if that's just added to the storyline and they've leaked stuff out for that. Whatever it is, whatever the truth is, I'm sure it's somewhere kind of in the middle. But it thankfully led to a good match still. They both performed very well. And yeah, just that kind of figure four type thing, because I don't think it was quite a figure four. But they were screaming at each other, just calling each other bitch. You know, like it was it was entertaining. It was entertaining.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's like you say, like if it is like all like a work and stuff, and they've not got that that real heat with each other, then they're playing it very well from a point of view of like acting like they hate each other. And on the flip side, if it is a case that they legitimately do not like each other, they've also done a fantastic job of managing to keep it professional and taking it into the ring and actually pulling off a brilliant match.
Yeah, I mean, I said this was my fear last night as well. Again, like once you'd gone and me and Rob kind of dug into this match a bit more on the build-up show, and I was saying then, like, it was a worry that, if it's all legit, I hope it ends up being a Sean Brett situation where they still pulled off fantastic matches rather than, well, I guess you could say Sean Brett and Montreal didn't exactly go that way. But yeah, I didn't want it to be in that kind of vein where, like that scene a few weeks back where the title switch was, went really kind of awkwardly. I was like, if it's like that, then we are possibly in for a cluster. If it's the other side of it and it's like a Sean and Brett situation, then we are possibly in for a treat. And I think obviously it ended up being the treat. I wouldn't say there was too many kind of issues with the match or anything like that. And interesting seeing them do each other's moves as well. Those final little insults, Charlotte doing a disarmer and the exploder suplex into the turnbuckle and stuff like that. And obviously we touched on already the figure 4. But yeah, really good match. And I'd say like the finish, obviously I think one of the few things I did predict correctly, Becky Lynch winning. But yeah, she did it in a sneaky way, getting the rope. So I think that is positive for both women. It doesn't make either one look bad. And I think it's probably the best way to come out of this match, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, you, me, and Rob obviously all agreeing that this was going to end that way. And you got half your points in this match, mate.
Yay.
And
when there were so many on offer for this show as well.
Exactly. And Lucas, who was already 1-0 up, actually then went back to 0 because he predicted a draw. And so obviously lost out due to obviously the bonus points. So so then we moved into the men's traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. And that featured another 2 men that we recently interviewed in Kevin Owens and Bobby Lashley. If you haven't already seen them, by the way, go over to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel over on YouTube, and all of the videos are there for you to see. But so this match was really the first one for us that had like a lot of stakes in it because there were 3 points up for grabs here. What we do is with these traditional Survivor Series matches, we normally predict the overall team winner, the man who gets the final fall, so not necessarily the sole survivor, but the final fall and the first person to be eliminated. Now, not a single one of us predicted the first person to be eliminated, who was Kevin Owens just walking out as soon as the bell went. But you and me both were... I think it was for everyone kind of a bit like in and ahhing, is it going to be Seth or Drew?
Yeah.
I think that was generally, it was going to be one of those two. And, unfortunately, we both went with Drew. The other 2 Muppets both went with Seth Rollins and Raw. So, they got a point each and we got naffle. So,
I was pleasantly...
this one.
Well, I was going to say that I was pleasantly surprised to see Jeff go the distance though and do really well. And I did start to think maybe it's him. And obviously at that point, selfishly points wise, I'm thinking I really hope it is him. So I'm not giving up points to other people in this match. But sadly, it was well, again, for the points, it is at least for Seth getting away with the victory. But I thought it was a really entertaining match, really. It was a good 5-on-5. Everybody looked quite good, apart from KO walking out. I mean, he didn't have a chance to look good, but I guess it is possibly a good thing for his character if they've got a plan for this. Obviously, it's hard to tell with him at the moment with all the rumors surrounding his future and stuff like that. But who knows where it's going? So we'll see from there. But King Woods looked quite good until Lashley destroyed him. Lashley and Drew getting head to head again was quite cool. That was nice to see again. I was quite impressed with Austin Theory in this match as well. I think he really held his own. Someone that's jumped into a big kind of position that is quite young and quite still kind of new on the roster. So I was impressed with what I saw there. And Sheamus pretending to be Matt Hardy. That was quite good as well. And also, just Sheamus and Jeff really working together, which was quite funny to see. Just them being, like Jeff doing again, Sheamus doing kneeling down like Matt, Jeff doing the kind of punches, them acting like mates, and then Sheamus obviously wouldn't let that last very long. And then you remember these guys hated each other about a year ago. So
throwing cups of wee over each other and stuff. And then next thing, let's work together.
Yeah.
It's all for the blue t-shirts. Let's do this.
Of course.
But sorry about that, by the way, if I just cut out randomly, guys. So
that's all right. We got your back. The twist of fate, obviously towards the end, and the swanton, and I started to think, oh my gosh, this might happen, and it was perfectly executed. The knees going up, and Jeff landing on them, and then into the stomp. I thought it was a fantastic end sequence. So yeah, all in all, really impressed with this match.
Yeah, I think it did come across quite good actually, and as you say, like it's nice to see Jeff Hardy go quite far in it, and Seth again pulling out all the stops in his gear as well, and the lovely jacket that he had on.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
If we go over to the channel as well, you'll also see another video of Scott trying some of Seth Rollins' suits. Not yet a poll on who wore it better, but I'm sure we can arrange that sometimes. I mean, obviously, one of them didn't nearly fall off a chair trying the suit. So, I doubt Seth nearly fell off a chair. But I suppose we're not in the changing room when he's
exactly. He might have.
On, so
maybe I was really like mirroring the man, you know.
Be on Becky's show reel on that. So so then we get into the match that was kind of announced very last minute, and that was to celebrate The Rock's 25th anniversary. Was the 25-man Survivor Series Battle Royal match. And it was won by the guy you can see in the very top right-hand corner of your screen, covered up by our lovely logo, and that is Omos. Too tall for the graphic. I predicted this one. I was surprised.
I'm having headphone troubles. I cannot hear you.
Don't worry. I'm not saying anything very interesting at the minute, so nothing new there. But in this match, obviously, we all picked who was going to win the match, and we also picked who was going to be the first person eliminated from the match. So Rob went for a Cesaro win and Ricochet to go out first. Lucas predicted that Sami Zayn was going to win, and Umberto was going to be the first one out. Scott, obviously, as we know, picked Ricochet to win and Jinder Mahal to come to be the first one eliminated. Whereas yours truly was the only person that decided that Big Omos was going to be the one man that was going to be the sole, that was going to be the winner of the Battle Royal. So, I think overall, I mean, you look at the field for this Battle Royal. I mean, there's a lot of talent in this Battle Royal. I mean, you could be forgiven for thinking it was a tag team Battle Royal. I mean, you've got AJ and Omos in there. You've got Shanky and Jinder. You've got the Dirty Dogs. You've got the Hurt Business. You've got Otis and Gable. It's pretty much that entire bottom row, other than Sami Zayn. It's literally been it's a tag team bottom row. So and then obviously on the top row, there's a lot of the 24/7 people, some more tag teams. So obviously Ricochet as well did very, very well in this match. Ricochet, very well, got right the way down to the end, against Omos, it was definitely for me like quite a good match. Obviously, even better for me that I obviously predicted the correct winner for this match in Omos. It was weird because I think I can't remember who it was that one of the others was saying they thought it could have gone to Omos. Was it Lucas maybe? Was it maybe Lucas? I'm not sure. But one of the other guys thought it was it may well have been. So so obviously Omos winning the Battle Royal. It'd be interesting obviously to see what direction they go with this now. but yeah, Drew Gulak obviously being the first man who was eliminated as well. Yeah, and then obviously, as we say, Omos winning it. So yeah, I'm gonna what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just quickly run through a few more of the interviews that we did. So we recently went and did a few interviews for WWE on the UK tour, the most recent UK tour, sorry, that they did. You know, just a massive shout out, obviously, to the PA people there. It gave us the opportunity here to interview WWE champion Big E. Obviously, you can see here bringing back the 5 count, his dream match with Goldberg. We got to interview the NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa, talking all about when the DIY story should have ended and him not fitting the vision for NXT 2.0. Then we spoke, obviously, to Damian Priest, all about picking his new celebrity partner, his new character and theme song. We did the Kevin Owens interview, where we speak on his relationship with Triple H, story behind NXT War Games. There was the interview with Bobby Lashley. Basically, Scott talking to him about his first WWE run, Hurt Business, why a Brock Lesnar match hasn't happened. That's quite an interesting story, actually, that one, about the Brock Lesnar thing.
Yeah.
We also interviewed Riddle as well. That, for me, was a whole heap of fun. Probably the most fun I've ever had interviewing somebody. But yeah, he talks a lot about talks very, very highly of Randy Orton in this. Ideas for future entrances. Obviously, we saw them come out on a camel at Crown Jewel. So yeah, the guys have literally just, he talks to us quite a bit about that. And then obviously, as we mentioned as well, we spoke to the lovely Doudrop as well. Obviously, talking about her true character, like expressing herself as a true character, finding out about the name change to Doudrop. And yeah, I think, you know, overall, that was a great day of interviews for us.
Very fun.
A quick little run through of the interviews there. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Am I having mic problems still?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool. Sorry about that. So we seem to have a lot of tech difficulties at the moment. But yeah, just quickly, I won't go on too much about this match, but well, first of all, I like any match that's for pizza. That's quite fun. I personally wouldn't have chosen Pizza Hut. But, I mean, did you look at the pizza? It looked dry, didn't it? I mean, Pizza Hut is often quite dry, I'd say, anyway. But that dry pizza they were throwing in the audience. I mean, but yeah, not if Street Profits are delivering it straight out to you, mate, into the audience. I mean, to be fair, if I caught it, I'd still eat it. I can't deny that.
A dry old slice of crusty pizza.
Yeah, man, if it's free and it's pizza, they're two things I love. Doesn't matter how bad they are. They're still free and they're still pizza. But yeah, not much you can say about a Battle Royal, really, apart from, I guess, the finish and the main spots. But yeah, and for me, you know, AJ being a tug of war was quite funny. Omos getting rid of Aziz was quite a kind of a big point. You know, big guy on big guy. And yeah,
as well.
And Shanky, yeah. And then Omos getting the victory. Yeah, I do think it was probably a good shout, really. I know, yeah, you got some points there. I didn't. And I was very close as well, Ricochet.
You're unlucky, yeah. We were 1 and 2.
That's it. A lot of these ones here, it's like, and I think it goes with the same when we did our 5 and 5 predictions. We were like, this person will either be eliminated or because it was like they'll have a big role. Like certain people can tell they're going to be used in a certain way. They could be winning it. They could be out first. They could be part of the winning team and have a big spot. But, you know, so it was weird looking back on some of our predictions, how close a lot of them were in the sense that it could have just twisted that little bit. But if you start watching a match, and I mentioned this off air when we were texting earlier today, like if there were certain points where it's like, I can tell what's going to happen now. Like my prediction is dead or in the water, because as soon as Omos held Ricochet in a certain way, I just put 2 and 2 together and thought Ricochet's going to do a massive bump outside. And that's exactly what he did. Like, of course he's going to get thrown. If anyone can get thrown amazingly, it's Ricochet. And if anyone can throw someone believably like that, it's Omos. So I was like, all right, this is it. I've lost my point. Great. Omos is about to win. So, but yeah, I can't say the execution wasn't fun though. I did enjoy the last kind of moments in the Battle Royal.
Yeah, and talking of great executions, there was a really great execution in the finish to this next match as well, and that was the tag team champions facing off against each other, which was RK Bro versus the Usos. Yeah, another one where you went the wrong way, mate. Again.
Again, and I could feel it. They were on top for too long. I was like, they ain't winning.
Come out in some banging white gear as well with the blue socks.
Yeah.
Just the little tinge of blue in there.
Nice. Nice.
RK Bro letting the side down a bit though. Not enough red for my liking with them. But, they had the red belts, I suppose, but that's obviously you have to have the right color.
Yeah, it's kind of
the right show.
Yeah.
So.
Well, unless you do a swap, as we do see these days. So well,
yeah, exactly.
I agree. Great match. Sorry, no.
No, I was gonna say so RK Bro winning. Obviously, was it one of the Usos? Forgive me, I can't remember which one. Came off the top rope. Looked like he was going for the Uso splash onto Riddle, and then out of nowhere, Randy Orton hit the RKO for the 1, 2, 3. So and Randy Orton breaking a record of most pay-per-views ever as well.
Yeah, very nice. Great way to do it. Looking back in hindsight, of course, you have to do it with a win. So, and once, like you said, I can't remember which you say it was either, but I went for the splash. I was like, I know what's going to happen. So, yeah, well done, man. You got the points. But again, I can't begrudge it too much because it was a good match. I did enjoy it. I also enjoyed Pat McAfee saying, calling Riddle's GTS a modified go-to night, which was quite funny. Guess he didn't want to quite say go to sleep. But that was quite funny. And decent match in general. And Rob was really looking forward to this last night in the build-up because he was saying like it'd be interesting to see the kind of contrast in styles between the teams. And I think they gelled quite well.
Yeah, I think overall it was a very, very good match. And I think, it's like obviously we said I was saying in the Battle Royal, there was so many tag teams in that Battle Royal. And, when people say, the tag team division is dead, I mean, you're looking at Battle Royal, there's probably about 6 or 8 teams in there just on their own. So they do have a decent tag division. It's just, you need to just get them all working together and gelling together. And then, you've got yourself some half decent matches there. Yeah. So now we go on to the women's 5-on-5 elimination match. That was Team Raw featuring Queen Zelina, Carmella, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair, taking on Team SmackDown of Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Toni Storm. I think we were all pretty correct on Carmella. Oh, wait, sorry. No, not all of us. 3 of us were correct, with Carmella being the first one eliminated. You obviously saying Natalya to go out.
It felt too obvious. It's always like, it's easy to pick Carmella all the time, and I should have just gone with the obvious, man.
Mate, Mella is money.
Yeah, Mella
easy
is
money to win on this one.
Mella is points.
Mella is points. But yes, it was nice as well that she adapted the mask to have like the red mask as well. I like that little touch as well, and how all of them were in like their matching colored gears, which was said before. It's one thing I always like. I was so close to getting full points. None of us got full points here. Me and Rob both said that Raw were going to win and that Liv Morgan would get the final full. Obviously, Raw did win, but it was Bianca Belair who was the last woman to get the pinfall. So, no points obviously for you or Luke. Well, Lucas got 1 for Carmella, but no points on that one for any of us for predicting the final fall. Just me and Rob getting 1 for saying Team Raw were going to win. And strange. Like this was pretty Raw heavy as well. I think the pre-show match and the match we're going to get to in a minute, the championship match, WWE versus Universal Champion, were the only 2 matches that SmackDown won. And I don't think it was acknowledged throughout the entire show either.
Yeah, I mean,
normally they're like, Raw goes up 2-1.
Yeah, but good impression.
Literally nothing at all.
Yeah, I think they change it all the time as well. Because remember, there was that one year where they didn't count the New Day's win on the pre-show as well, and like to fit the agenda. So it's kind of
wasn't that when it was like a Raw clean sweep, and they were like the only ones that won?
That was,
they were like, actually, it wasn't a clean sweep because we won.
So like they pick and choose, just as they do with pay-per-view in general. If you want to hear us talk in detail about the Survivor Series concept and a brand versus brand thing. We won't go into it too much here because we spent a long time talking about this last night in the build-up show. So if you haven't seen that yet, obviously check it out. We are hyping you up for Survivor Series, but in that we always bring up some really interesting discussions and debates as well. So please check that out on the channel. Because if you're watching this and you're thinking, God, these boys are a bit easy going on the concept. Everyone else is moaning about the Raw versus SmackDown thing. No, trust me, we did our time last night. We don't want to tread on old ground and just repeat the same grievances. But yeah, like you though, when you're gonna do it, I have a lot of problems with the way they do it. But when you're gonna do it, I like seeing the kind of subtle kind of coordination in gear and stuff like that. But yeah, going into the match itself, interesting that was it both Soul Survivor one-on-ones? They both ended with one-on-ones, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so quite interesting that they did that. And yeah, as far as the actual content of the match, I was a bit disappointed that Toni Storm went out so early by Liv Morgan, because I think, was she the first one from her team? Yeah, she must have been the first one from her team. So that was quite.
Did she not eliminate Zelina and then literally like a minute later she got eliminated herself?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was quite disappointing. Seeing Shane and Rhea together, I know we've seen it in NXT. They've been around each other before, but it just reminded me this would be a great program if they put some effort into it. So that was a bit bittersweet, but it was nice to see him kind of getting to it, even though it did kind of bring on a Mexican wave, which was a bit awkward. But something Rhea did do that was fantastic, though, to Sasha, was that weird kind of, she got her in the powerbomb position, but she pulled through her arms, lifted her up, and then pulled it into a suplex, which she held for ages, and then connected with it. It was fantastic.
Incredibly talented.
Yeah, that was so impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, she's definitely like, she's still, I think she's only like 24 as well, so she's still relatively young, but she's got such like a wise wrestling brain on her, and you know the stuff that she can do in the ring as well is like
so impressive. Yeah,
I think the future of this WWE women's division is in really good hands as well. You know, like even you think like the likes of Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, like the four horsewomen, so to speak. They're not old.
Yeah, they still got a
like
few years on them. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think they're all like late. I think they're like all what. Late 20s, early 30s. I think maybe mid 30s at a push.
Right.
You know, and for the men, that's when like their careers bloody start. It's like, or some careers start in like the 40s and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Diddy became world champion very late, so yeah,
exactly. And I mean, you think like all 10 women in this match. You know, I mean, we'll stick it back up. I mean, you think all 10 of them, they're all super talented women. Obviously, you got Natty in there, who's like the experienced veteran. They can all just pick her brain, you know, and she is just seems like the most giving person they've got there in WWE, like in that women's division. That, you know, she will work with these younger talents and get them to where they need to be. And you know, if WWE were to go and do like a women's show or like an all women's pay-per-view, I think the reason they don't want to do it is because I think Vince is scared that it's going to outdraw the men's ones.
I don't know. I mean, money's money, isn't it?
I think, you know.
I don't know. I don't know about that because
Could you imagine if they literally did a women's show and literally it sold out?
But then they just push the women in it. It ain't like he's afraid to put them on as main event. You know, he did it at WrestleMania. So I don't know. But I mean, touching on you know, the kind of younger faces there, the fresher faces, even like you know, like Rhea Ripley, but also, you know, I see on that graphic, Shotzi, who's doing very well at the moment, Toni Storm as well, and then ones that are kind of been around for a little bit longer, but you know, kind of getting a bit of a peak at the moment as well in Liv Morgan, and who knows where that's going to go. Every month we seem to be saying, oh, this could be the breakout moment for her, but and she held her own in this. She performed quite well, and she had a bit of a shine on her, so that was good to see as well. I was shocked though, but that it was Bianca Belair getting a victory, but it was received very well. I think Lucas was saying last night on the build-up that it's a risky thing to do and almost kind of getting a bit too much now. Maybe she should take a bit of a step back, but she was, I mean, judging from the London shows we've been to recently, massively over, and judging from this, everyone was completely fine with her being a self-survivor and getting that shine again. So, the crowd erupted and everybody kind of left that match happy.
I think she's what they call Overlight Rover.
Overlight Rover.
Overlight Rover, yeah.
Sasha as well. I just forgot her getting counted out was
an
interesting spot.
It was interesting though, because she was like halfway in the ring as well, and generally it's like the referees are like, any part of you that's in the ring, you're technically back in the ring.
Yeah, but it was all timed very, very well until that last moment.
It's like
she was
it's
almost
like VAR, isn't
it?
VAR, it's the whole of the ball over the whole of the line. It's the whole of the body past the bottom rope, sort of.
Yeah, I guess like if her feet are off the floor, but she's half in, surely that counts. It'd be interesting to see.
But then you could literally just put your arm in and just be like, "Oi, I'm in."
Yeah, and that's it though. They never want to define these rules because it means it puts them in a little corner where they can't kind of be lenient with it. And even when they do define them, like they do change their minds anyway. So who knows? But it was a little bit of a sloppy 10 at least, but the rest of it up until that point, I thought it was executed quite well and an interesting spot to do as well, not your kind of typical thing as well.
One man who knows a lot about dodgy 10 counts is Roman Reigns. Obviously, shouldn't be Universal Champion. It should be Kevin Owens because obviously Roman Reigns did get counted down for a 10 count in the Last Man Standing match.
Yeah, when was that?
But
Rumble?
We won't go into that.
Was it at the Rumble? Was that?
Yeah, I think so. Roman Reigns obviously going one-on-one with our good friend Biggie, friend of the channel Biggie.
Yeah, we can say that.
Got to say, massive shout out to Biggie. Thank you so much for the best shout out we have ever had on Rebellious.
Yeah, it was so funny, wasn't it? Yeah.
Literally, I go and watch the entire interview. But if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, even if you just watch the bit at the end where Biggie gives us a shout out, it is worth 20-30 seconds of your time.
Yeah. Now you know why he's paid the big bucks, mate, because he's good on the mic.
He's a man of the people.
And in the ring, obviously. But great guy, and
very, very lovely gentleman as well. So obviously Big E versus Roman Reigns. We were going right off topic there. This was the main event. No Roman Reigns, and thankfully, Scott, you got a point, mate.
What do you mean no Roman Reigns? You mean no Rock?
No Rock, yeah.
No Rock, I got a point. Wait.
Luckily,
careful there.
Rob actually went with a no contest here, so it means that,
he loses a point. So
he loses a point here, and the other three of us were a bit more sensible, didn't use a bonus point, and all went for a Roman Reigns victory. But I think we were all a little bit like I'm in an iron as to would it be like a super clean victory? I guess people were thinking, is there going to be more Uso involvement, more New Day involvement?
Yeah. It felt like it was going that way, didn't it? And obviously the Rock stuff, which we'll get into. But I just think I was very shocked at how clean the ending was, and I think that is a very, very risky thing they've done there. There's always a champion that feels like the secondary champion anyway, and depending on who's got the other title or how it's being used and whatever else, what storylines are going on where, and Roman, because of the way he's been booked, feels like the main champion. So it's hard enough as it is to kind of put Big E and the WWE title on that same level. They've done well in the build-up, to be fair. I think it's, out of the matches they have built up, this is probably one of the better ones for Survivor Series. But it was still a shame to me just how easy he beat Big E in the end. I feel like there should have been some sort of shenanigans. But I mean, there was some cool spots in the match. The big ooh, and Big E stood right there, shocked him. Big E messing things up outside the ring, only for Reigns to do the Superman punch off the steps and all that. Like cool visuals, cool match in general, fun, entertaining. But just not sure about the way it ended. And also, quickly touching on the Rock stuff. Obviously, throughout the night, they're peppering in this Rock stuff because of Rock 25. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't think he was going to show up. But you never know. They kind of leaned on it weirdly, quite heavily as they went on. And then this whole thing with Vince McMahon and the egg, and him bringing Roman Reigns into the dressing room for an interview for a Hassar job. For a
job interview.
For a meeting. That went nowhere. It was literally just had a meeting to say, your cousin got me this. All right. And then he leaves basically going, $100 million how much my next contract should be or whatever like that. Firstly, that egg thing is from the film. I ain't seen the film, don't know the relevancy of it or whatever else. But that was a weird tie-in anyway. The opening package, strange. Pizza Hut stuff, very, very strange. And I'm jumping all over the place now, but Rob was saying last night, he thought, it kind of links, Rock 25 Battle Royal, it's got to be because something's going to happen. Something big's going to happen. And it's because the Nakamura match felt like it should have been on the main show. And pre-show kind of feels like the home for these kind of wild Battle Royals. And clearly it is because something was happening. It was because someone had sponsored the match, So literally that is why the Pizza Hut match was on the main show, because it was the Pizza Hut match, which is a real shame. But then jumping back to the Rock kind of teasing all night, I know a lot of people online are saying, why are people annoyed? Like, no one said The Rock was going to be there. But at the same time, if they change the order of the matches to
this going on first,
like to make people feel like it could happen on a night like this, celebration, and people know what's going on, Roman Reigns, that they could have a feud in the future. What, like Vince McMahon's there? He's talking about a gift he's got. It gets stolen. And then even in this match, like Roman Reigns does the rock bottom. Like it's, oh my goodness. There was so much pointing towards, could it be? Like, could he actually be here? So then when you get like a clean finish and there you go, Roman Reigns won. That's the end of the show. It felt like a real kind of deflating, kind of back down to earth type thing. How did you feel about it all?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely one of those matches where you had to kind of sit right the way through and make sure that, that end graphic comes up and the screen faded to black and the actual like stream ended before you kind of turned it off, because you're like, anything could happen here. But as you say, like with Vince and this egg thing,
just those words sound funny, but
I mean, and ironically, like the Undertaker was apparently due to like hatch out of an egg.
The gobbledygooker. Well, he was fearful that he was going to be Eggman, as he puts it. But,
Eggman. Yeah. And now the Rock's Eggman. So
Rock is,
but I think the only thing that I didn't like about it was the whole thing about talking about $100 million contracts when you've just released people citing the budget cuts. Why?
I also didn't like the $100 million. Like, obviously, it's not worth that. Like, just come on, like, don't suspend our disbelief. That, like, I'm willing to come on this journey with you, but don't pretend that costs $100 million. It's just
like £100,000, maybe.
Yeah, like, and why would the Rock gift Vince? I'm sure Vince is very, appreciated by the Rock. I don't think the Rock's going to give anyone $100 million. So it's just stupid. The whole thing was stupid.
And well, then what he can do, if it's worth $100 million, sell it and bring some of these bloody talent back that you've just released. Then you won't have to do.
Who's going to buy that for $100 million? Then again, it might have a special power. Again, I don't know what this film's all about.
Yeah, true.
But who knows? Maybe it's worth more than that. Maybe we're underselling this magical, mystical, wonderful egg.
Yeah, and then maybe potentially, if we can get someone to watch it, there may be a review of it over on RN Screen One.
Who knows?
Our sister channel that covers film and TV. So check out some of the stuff over on there as well, and go and give that a little like and a subscribe as well if you like all things film and TV. That's like the posh channel here, because it's all like coloured in gold and stuff. So I'm told, obviously, it's the posh one, where we dress up and
yeah, we do dress up a bit.
But the one time I was on, it was like a Line of Duty review thing. So
that was
and
good.
we were all in like our best suit jackets and stuff. So but back to obviously back to Survivor Series. The whole thing with Vince, I think it was blooming strange. But I think I've worked out who stole the egg anyway.
Okay. So they say it's going to be on Raw. Obviously, we're doing this live now before Raw, but if you're watching us after Raw, hey, you probably know what's happened. Maybe not. Maybe they've forgotten all about this like they do sometimes. But okay, so with that in mind, who are you thinking?
Well, it's not Hornswoggle, because he's not employed by WWE anymore.
No, but he could have come back. He could have come back.
So I'll tell you who I think it is and why. I think it's Rikishi, and I think he did it for The Rock.
I was thinking, is this going to be a joke, or have you really got an idea of who it might be?
I think it's Paul Heyman, to be fair.
I think it's related to Reigns.
I think it's going to be related to that.
But
so
why? What will happen after that? Is Vince going to call him out? Is he going to act annoyed with him?
it's going to be The Rock's going to come out. I want my egg back.
Imagine if The Rock just stole it back. It was like, oh, I accidentally sent you the wrong gift. This was for someone else.
It's like Happy Easter. It's a chocolate egg.
It's a chocolate egg. Yeah.
I
don't know what they're going to do.
Didn't they? That gold paper.
It did look a bit like a chocolate egg. Yeah.
Probably was, to be fair. That's probably what happened to it. Just melted.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no one stole it. They just it started to melt. Someone ate it, threw the tinfoil out, and that's it. Game over.
Exactly. Ate that after their triple threat pizza. So
yeah. Oh, what a face.
When they're sponsored by pizza.
Oh gosh.
There are other pizza joints available that are much better. So
definitely. Well,
go and check some of them out.
Unless they want to pay us some money, and then otherwise there are no better pizza places.
Pizza Hut, Mr. Hut. If you want to come and pay us a bit of moolah, then
then I'll gladly eat pizza on camera. Yeah.
And send us freebies as well.
Oh,
they're always welcome. So if you send them to Scott Warren, care of Rebellious Noise, it will get to him. So
yeah, but then there's a risk it won't get to the rest of you boys. So maybe it shouldn't come to me first. It should go to you to evenly distribute. Like,
yeah, true.
I'm getting hungry just talking about.
To be fair, like, I've got enough here to in excess to keep me going for a while, so I'm all right. But yes, obviously Roman Reigns did obviously come out of this match victorious. So as we said though, it was really strange how clean this was. But I think if we look at it on the flip side, I think, and I don't like saying this, I think Big E was the champion that could afford to take the loss a little bit more, because I think the character of Roman Reigns, the character arc at the moment, and this domination from him, it makes sense as well that obviously they had a bit of a brawl on SmackDown as well, and Big E stood tall there, so that would kind of have implied that obviously going into it, because we know WWE booking normally will dictate that whoever is standing tall on the go home show will generally be the one that's laying there staring up at the lights come the main show itself. So yeah, but I mean, I think I did enjoy the match. I thought it was pretty good. There were some really good spots in it. Just I guess interesting just to see what direction they're going to go now. Obviously, is Roman still going to continue, and pardon the pun, his reign of terror over Xavier Woods as well? What's next for Big E, I guess. And I think it all kind of ties in as well, because if booking and rumors are to be believed, then the next challenger lined up for Big E is obviously Seth Rollins. He's got that contract as well that he can challenge for a title match. So all comes back round to Roman Reigns, doesn't it? Seth Rollins obviously in the Shield with Roman Reigns. So
and obviously the next pay-per-view is day one, so it's a little bit further away than usual.
Yeah. So this is actually our last review show of 2021 as well. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
Get all out of the way now. Yeah.
So I mean, we'll put the table up quickly. So before the show, the table stood as follows: was me on 32 points, along with Rob, Scott on 30, and Lucas on 27.
Now this was painful to look at before, Dan, and now what you're about to do is hurt me even further.
Well, to be fair, the positions haven't changed.
True, but
it's the right hand side you want to be focusing on.
The task, but the task ahead has changed for me. It's a big task to climb back up this table. You'll see.
I think it's like not finishing last is the goal now, isn't it?
Hey, come on now.
There we go. The head of the table.
Gutted. Absolutely
the
gutted.
head of the table is Rome Dan Reigns.
Rome Dan Reigns, nice.
Rome Dan Reigns, closely followed by Robbie. And then Scott and Lucas on 32. So pretty decent show overall, I think, for Lucas. I mean, you're lucky that Lucas went for a draw in the Becky and Charlotte match, because if he hadn't lost that bonus point, you would have been sitting rock bottom. Pardon the pun.
Not the kind of rock bottom I wanted to see last night,
And obviously Rob sitting there on 37, he would have obviously been level with me on 38 had he not gone
bonus
for a no contest in this match. So it's looking interesting. So I topped the table, going into Christmas and the New Year. But like we've seen with the Premier League, that's not always the case. That whoever is top at Christmas goes on.
It's a good indicator, though, Dan. I mean, generally, whoever's third doesn't climb to the top. So I might have to say goodbye now. But now we've got day one. Then we've got the Royal Rumble, where there will be a few bonus points up for grabs. So who knows? And then Mania, obviously, where it all comes to a head. And now will be another 2-nighter. I'm sure some extra points on offer there as well. So it's all to play for.
Well, don't forget
Chamber, yeah. Well, you never know what they're going to do with the calendar these days. Will they do Fastlane? Who knows? So
but yeah. I mean, for definitely though, for you and Lucas, I think it's time to be thinking like, do I take that extra risk of a bonus point? But then with risk comes that risk of losing.
High risk, high rewards.
Obviously, Lucas and Rob both found out the hard way here. And I think it happened to me. I think at the last one, I think I tried.
Yeah, not long ago you had
yeah, and it backfired on me as well. So, but yeah, so I think that pretty much covers Survivor Series. I think 2021, as we said, the final WWE pay-per-view of 2021, and I'm guessing we'll be back we'll probably be back again in 2021.
Yeah, we'll have some stuff going on still.
Show. Well, we've got to do the predictions.
It's going to be a rough week though, mate. Like Christmas and all. How are we going to? We'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll have more content even if we haven't got the recap and reviews and predictions going on. I'm sure. And then New Year's Day. New Year's Day to do a build-up show. That's going to be fun. And
then we'll be back on day 2 to do the recap and review of day one.
Day one. So, yeah, that's just to make it confusing.
Yeah, just to make it confusing for you. So yeah, that is, I guess, everything from me and Scott. Just want to say massive thank you to all of you guys that for watching. Thanks for all of the likes, shares, and subscribes on the channel. And don't forget, go back and check out all of the interviews that we recently did and all the other amazing videos that we've got here. As well, again, for me, a personal thank you, Scott and Rob. Thanks for sticking around last night to entertain the lovely people of
the millions.
Well. The millions.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. It's good fun. Build-up shows are always fun. So again, if you haven't seen it yet, go back. There are some great discussions on there. And come and join us for a future pay-per-view build-up show because again, they are absolutely wild and good fun.
Yeah. For me, it's generally the time that the show's finishing is generally the time I'm waking up. So,
the pay-per-views.
Yeah, so that's pretty much why I'm not on most of them until
the
very late stuff.
Yeah,
so
Dan does the early part of the build-up, and then
I mean, just to peel back the curtain a bit for all of you fans that are watching. The pay-per-views are generally on at like midnight or 1 a.m. here in the UK.
Midnight if we're lucky, which we thought it was, but because the amount of places I saw reporting that, but
yeah, so it's like 1 a.m. and then finishes around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Or if it's WrestleMania, then it will finish at like flipping
the next
midday the next day sometime. Anyway, that is it. Thanks a lot, Scott, for joining me. Thank you guys at home for watching, and we will see you very soon, hopefully. If we don't see you before Christmas, then have a very Merry Christmas from everyone at the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. If we do, then
we'll say it again.
A nice Christmas wish, and we'll say it again. Maybe we'll be a bit more festive next time, though. Yeah. Anyway, take care, guys. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.